Kaya nga, kami naman bilang inyong pamahalaan ay sabi namin, kailangan wala tayong magagawa doon sa presyuhan, tumulong na lang tayo doon sa kakayahan ng pagbili. Pasalubong konti sa Pasko para makapagbigay tayo ng konting ginhawa man lang sa taong bayan dito sa gitna ng mga krisis na nagtataas ng presyo.
From the nation's capital, all sides, all the time, I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Gretchen Ho. The big story tonight.
President Bongbong Marcos has arrived in Bangkok, Thailand for his participation in the 29th APEC summit.
But before leaving the Philippines, Marcos expressed optimism earlier today that his campaign of bringing rice prices down to 20 pesos per kilo is now within reach. Maricel Halili with the big story.
President Bongbong Marcos believes that the Philippines is close to achieving more affordable rice. Recall that lowering rice prices to 20 pesos per kilo has been one of Marcos Jr.'s most notable campaign promises. During the nationwide launch of the Kadiwa ng Pasko project, President Marcos says that this goal will soon be within reach.
Palapit na tayo doon sa aking pangarap na mag 20 pesos, pero dahan-dahan lang. Aabutin din natin yan. Pero marami pa tayong gagawin.
The Kadiwa ng Pasko project seeks to address inflation by providing the people with more affordable goods, including vegetables, fruits, and rice.
Nagiging mas mura dahil ang pamahalaan, unang-una, pagbibili ng bigas, kinukuha sa NFA, kinukuha sa buffer stock, doon lang hindi kumikita ang NFA. Kung ano yung pinambili nila, ganun din ang presyo. Kaya't yung nakita ninyo yung bigas, 25 pesos.
14 sites were opened simultaneously across the country, including one in Mandaluyong City. President Marcos says they plan to set up more Kadiwa stores nationwide. After this, President Marcos proceeded to the Villamor Air Base for a pre-departure program. He is bound for Thailand to attend the 29th Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Summit.
We will be engaging with the leaders of the economies of the Asia-Pacific region to agree on how we can achieve food and energy, safe and seamless cross-border passage for our seamen and our other Filipino workers, economic inclusion of our MSMEs, women, indigenous people, and other segments whose economic potential remain to be unlocked.
Aside from economic matters, President Marcos said the leaders will also discuss issues on digitalization and climate change. President Marcos is scheduled to meet with King and Queen of Thailand as well as various business groups and the Filipino community in Bangkok. He will stay in Thailand until Saturday, November 19. For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
Though agricultural products have become cheaper in Kadiwa stores, prices of these commodities continue to soar in wet markets. This prompts consumers to become even more creative in budgeting for their daily meals. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez tells us more.
As prices of goods continue to skyrocket, consumers are having a hard time coming up with dishes to cook for every day. In Mega Q Mart, nearly all vegetables have become more expensive. From 240 to 280 pesos per kilo, onions are now priced at 300 pesos. Per kilo, prices of eggplant have also doubled, while prices of Baguio beans, cucumber, and lettuce are now over 100 pesos higher. Vendors have this to say about the price increase.
Matapos ang bagyo nagtaas lahat. Dahil siguro sa bagyo, nasira ang mga pananim, nalugi sila, bumabawi sa meron.
Ronaldo admits that his budget cannot handle the expensive prices in wet markets.
Sa budget, kailangan talagang konting tipid talaga. Kaya lang kung anong kakainin ko, yun lang bibilihin ko.
Because of this, he was only able to buy a few items like fish, fruits, and vegetables worth 565 pesos. We tagged along with Ronaldo to see how he whips up something to eat with the few items he bought.
So sa ngayon, kailangan hugasan po ng isda, then ipiprito ko siya para pagprito ko sa isda is going to paggisa ng sarsyado.
According to Mang Ronaldo, this will last him 3 days since he lives alone. But he hopes that prices of goods will soon go down so that he can buy more with the budget that he has. But until then, consumers like Ronaldo have to tighten their belts as economists expect inflation to remain elevated until year-end. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
Here to discuss with us the latest developments in the agriculture sector, we have with us on the show Danilo Fausto. He is president of the Philippine Chamber of Agriculture and Food. Good evening, Mr. Fausto. Welcome to the big story.
Good evening, Robbie. Good evening, Gretchen.
Magandang gabi po. Sabi po ni President Marcos, nalalapit na ang 20 pesos per kilo. I won't ask you kung ano pong ibig sabihin niya, pangkalahatan ba yan o pangkadiwa ba yan? Or I won't ask you, kailan ba mararating yan? Ang tanongin ko na lang po sa inyo po, sa inyong nakikita, saan po tutungtong ang presyo ng bigas, let's say by December?
Well, dalawa yung objective natin dyan, separate objective. One is satisfying the consumer price. The other one is giving a good profit for the farmers. So kailangan win-win ang situation. Now, if you want to bring down the Kadiwa para sa Pasko, will be about 25 pesos a kilo. You know, the NFA rice will be the one, I think, I assume will be the one we use, which is bought at 19 pesos palay per kilo. If you mill that palay, that would be a 60% recovery. The minimum cost of NFA will be something like 31.60 to 7 pesos. So there's about, if you're selling the rice for 25 pesos without profit, then there's a intervention of government subsidy of about 7 pesos per kilo. If you're talking about the capacity of NFA, how much they have in the stock, if they have by this year 7 billion, that they will be subsidizing something 2.5 billion. And if it's 14 billion, which is I heard from the budget, that will be about 5 billion subsidy just for NFA. But if you will buy the palay from the commercial market, from the farmers, then your cost is 17 pesos. And if you milled it, the rule of thumb is you have 34 pesos for the rice, then that will be about 9 to 10 pesos subsidy per kilo of government. Naturally, you can bring down as long as the government has the money to intervene and put in the subsidy. But unfortunately, for this year, the budget for 2022 has already been spent during as of June. And so we will expect this by next year if the government will intervene on prices in terms of subsidy for the benefit of the consumer. But I hope it is not as the farmer in the will be sacrificed for this transaction because it has to be a win-win. If we do not have the farmer making money from the crops production, then the farmer will be stopping producing crops. That's how I see it, Robin.
Hey, sir, given the model of these Kadiwa stores, do you think this can actually be something that can be sustainable moving forward, addressing gaps in both supply and demand? Having a Kadiwa store in each municipality, in each town, is this something that you see promise in?
Yes, as a matter of fact, what we suggested to the President that we should have at least for each barangay, not the municipality, for the barangay. There's a packaging area, there's a value chain, and then you have the distribution system direct to the market. The urban centers could be the market, but definitely the LGU will have to intervene because they are the frontliners. They need to do this with the national government. The national government cannot do it alone. The mini agro-industrial centers, if I may say it, you got to have a dryer, a miller, a small miller, and a kamalig, a warehouse, and a distribution truck to deliver the products. And that can be done in corn areas, in rice areas, in fish areas. For fish areas, you need cold chain, cold storage facilities to bring your products to that level because it's, for example, onion, you need cold storage facilities to store for the rest. If you harvest April, it will last for until October, November. and then the early harvest will be December. That's very important, and we lack these cold storage facilities and processing areas for value chain. The Kadiwa will serve as the frontline retail market, but that's got to be in between. The supply chain will have to be there. The farmers will have to benefit from it, removing the middleman in the process. By doing that, prices can be brought down. Robbie?
All right, maraming salamat po. We hope that this can be sustained, not just in Christmas season, but until next year, in the years to come. Maraming salamat po, President of the Philippine Chamber of Agriculture and Food, Danilo Fausto. After the break, we'll speak with Pamalakaya Chairperson Fernando Hicap regarding government's approval of the importation of some 25,000 metric tons of fish. That when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
The recent breakdown of crypto exchange FTX.com has a lot of folks questioning not just what went wrong, but why it happened so fast in the first place. In a word, liquidity. It's the backbone of every marketplace out there. Look at it this way. Say I had this can of beans. I think it's worth $2. You think it's worth $2, so we'll just exchange. You get what you want, I get what I want. It's simple and efficient. As more people see us trading, they also want to participate in this market, then everyone starts trading cash for beans. It's a liquid market. But one day you decide that this can of beans isn't worth $2. In fact, you think it's $0. Fair enough. I'm going to go find another buyer out there, but then she looks and she says, why would I pay $2 for this if that guy over there doesn't want to pay $2 for this? So I go look for another potential buyer, then another and another and a sister and a brother, but no one wants to be involved. It's a doom loop. Confidence in the process erodes and then suddenly poof, that's it. There are no more counterparties. There are no more transactions. Liquidity, it's gone. Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, FTX, these platforms were designed in large part to ensure an efficient marketplace for cryptocurrencies. But here's the strange loop of it all. That efficiency, it's based almost entirely on whether you believe and trust in that efficiency. Financial historian Peter Bernstein once said that liquidity is simply, well, whether you're willing to buy what I'm looking to sell.
You're watching The Big Story here on One News. With closed fishing seasons in effect in some of the country's major fishing grounds, the government has approved the importation of 25,000 metric tons of fish. This despite President Bongbong Marcos' earlier pronouncements that doing so would be unacceptable. Justine Punsalang with the report.
Galunggong, tulingan, and other fish commodities will soon be imported to the Philippines. The Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources has approved the importation of 25,000 metric tons of frozen fish commodities to supplement local demand. BIFAR Information and Fisher Folk Coordination Unit Head Nazer Briguera says the government needs to import supply amid the closed fishing season, which allows fish to spawn. The closed fishing season started last November 1 and will continue until January 2023. In a statement, the DA BIFAR said the move is necessary to ensure adequate supply in wet market. It also assures the public that the importation and unloading of frozen fish will adhere to strict guidelines and will be monitored by relevant agencies to ensure that the imported supply are safe for human consumption. The agency added that commercial fishing vessels and accredited fisher folk organization affected by the closed fishing season will be allowed to import. President Bongbong Marcos has earlier said that importing fish in the Philippines is unacceptable. But the BIFAR notes this is only a temporary measure. In an interview with Business World Live, Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura President Rosendo So expressed support for the importation.
So far, if we see the record last year, the month of October, we imported around 69,000 metric tons, and of course, October is around 40, and December is 42. So if we import in the range, it is I think okay, but not more than that.
But So also said that there is a need to make bigger local fishing boats to improve the catch of local fisher folk.
Our fisherman has a small boat, so they could not go to other places, farther places. So maybe we have to give them more bigger fishing boat so that they could go out what the other is doing. So what we could do is help our local fisher folks.
For News 5, Justine Punsalang, we are One News.
To share their insights on government's move to import fish, we have with us on the show Fernando Hicap, National Chairperson of the Fishers Group Pamalakaya. He's joining us live via Zoom. Good evening, Mr. Hicap. Welcome to The Big Story.
Hi, magandang gabi, Ruby and Richin, at sa lahat ng ating taga-subaybay, taga-suporta ng ating program. Big Story, magandang gabi po.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Bago po natin pag-usapan itong pag-import ng isda, maybe pwede po ba explain nyo lang sa amin itong fishing season, pagka nag-close fishing season, ano po ba ibig sabihin ito?
Pag nagpatapad po ng fishing season o close season, ay bawal pong mangisda, yung mga commercial fishing vessel, yung malalaking palakaya. Hindi po kasama dito, dapat yung mga municipal fisher, yung 3 gross ton pababa ang bigat, ng kanilang bangka. Kasi ito yung tulad namin, ng mga maliliit na mga isda na tanging ang kanilang pangailangan sa pang-araw-araw ay yung kanilang pangingisda. Kaya hindi dapat sila kasama doon sa cruise season. At yung katangian naman kasi ng paraan ng panguhuli ng mga maliliit na mangingisda ay sustainable yan. Hindi yan yung bulyuman, May 10 kilo yan, uuwi na yan at hindi nila kailangan magparami kasi pag marami yung huli nila, mag-oversupply, walang buyer, bababa, mas lalo malulugi sila. Kaya yung pamamaraan mismo ng panghuli ng maliliit na mangingisda ay sustainable. Compare mo doon sa mga commercial fishing vessel, talagang bulyoman yan. Hanggat meron na isda na mahuhuli, ay huhulihin nila yan. Kaya ganun po, hindi po kami tutol, ang Pamalakaya hindi po tutol doon sa pagpapatupad ng fishing ban or close season. Kasi may pangangailangan din naman talaga, yung ating pangisdaan na magpatupad nito para maging makapangitlog yung mga isda at magtuloy-tuloy yung supply nila para sa pangailangan ng ating mga kababayan. Pero hindi po kami sumasang-ayon na ang dahilan ng pagpapatupad natin ng close season o fishing ban ay para mag-justify para mag-import. So, hindi po ito katanggap-tanggap. Unang-una, yung in-import nating isda ay mga frozen fish na yan at hindi na dapat nga sa human consumption yan eh. Actually, ang mga in-import nating isda ay mga dapat fish meal na lang yan eh, panghayop. Tapos ngayon, ibibinta sa atin sa merkado, sa mamamayan. Kaya yung kalusugan, no? Yung dapat nating alalahanin at dapat nating pangunahing isang tabi, yung kalusugan ng ating mga kababayan.
So kung sa isang banda po, kinikilala niyo naman po yung pangangailangan na mag-close fishing season, pero ayaw rin naman natin yung importation. Ano po ang maaaring gawin to ensure naman na meron tayong supply ng isda?
Hindi na bago kasi yung close season and fishing ban. Taon-taon po ay ginagawa na natin to. At alam na natin, no, kung saan mga lugar o probinsya at rehiyon yung maapektuhan kapag nagpatupad tayo ng close season. At dapat ang ginagawa ng Department of Agriculture, bago pa man magpatupad ng close season o fishing ban, ay dapat meron tayong prepared na mga mechanism. Paano natin matutuloy yung mga supply na pangailangan na maapektuhan ng close season doon sa mga rehiyon at probinsya na dapat ay galing din sa ating supply. Marami po tayong supply ng isda. Hindi naman lahat at sabay-sabay. Yung pagpapatupad ng close season, magkakaiba po yan. Tama at pamamaraan ng pagkakaiba o hindi sabay-sabay na pagpapatupad nito. Halimbawa, sa Sulusi ay ibang buwan, dito sa Visayan Sea, iba rin, at dito sa bahagi ng Palawan, at iba rin, yung schedule. Merong September dyan to December, merong November to January to February. May ganun po yan, Kaya hindi sabay-sabay. At sa tingin namin ay kaya, at meron lang tama na pamamaraan ng paghahanda sa panahon na magpapatupad tayo ng close season, dapat meron tayong mga naka-frozen na isda o nasa mga storage facility, cold storage facilities para i-supply, i-intervene natin doon sa mga probinsya at region na maapektuhan ng close season. Sa ngayon, merong close season sa ibang lugar, pero sa bahagi ng Sorsogon, galing ako ng isang araw doon, ay merong oversupply ng tamban na walang market. Yung ganun ba, bakit ang pinagtataka namin, bakit kailangan kaagad-agad yung kapag nagpatupad tayo ng close season, importation kaagad yung solution. Na hindi naman talaga yung kasaysayan, hindi po talaga yung importation ng solution para ma-stabilize natin yung supply at saka ma-stabilize natin yung presyo na abot kaya ng mamamayan, At may stabilize lamang natin yan, yung supply at abot kaya yung presyo ng isda sa ating mga consumer kapag locally produced natin yan. Kasi ito galing mismo sa kanilang statement. Sabi nila, kapag maraming huli ang mga mangingisda, mura yung isda sa ating merkado. Kaya yun ang tama, At ligtas pa na isda.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Pamalakayan National Chairperson Fernando Hicap. And still to come, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is scheduled to visit the Philippines next week. That and more when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
Is it the beginning of the end of the war? Of course, you see our strong army. We are step by step coming to our country, to all the temporary occupied territories, and of course it's a pity, but it's a long way, difficult way, because this war took the best heroes of our country, and so but for us it's very understandable. We don't believe Russia, yes, and they are tricking with all the world. That's why we are going forward. We're ready for peace, but our peace for our country is all our country, all our territory. We respect the law and respect sovereignty of all the countries, but now we are speaking about our countries. That's why we are fighting against Russian aggression. the HIMARS, you know, that is high level of the level what we have from our partners, and we are really thankful for Joe Biden and for Congress and for all support. Not only USA, you understand it, all Europe help us too very much, so thank you very much. All this victory is possible when all the world is around Ukraine, around our country. So thank you again.
Sustainability, resilience, and security. So many big global issues that today's leaders are facing. We're here in Singapore for the New Economy Forum to talk through some of these issues and try to come up with some solutions.
First and foremost at the top of the list is the cost of food and energy globally. How on earth do we bring that down? Is there a way to relieve the pressure that countries in the emerging markets feel because the currencies are so weak against the US dollar and it costs them that much more to buy food and energy that's in short supply? Number two, I would say, is the rising tension level between the United States and China. And how is that?
You're still watching the big story here on One News. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris will be visiting the Philippines next week and is slated to meet with President Bongbong Marcos. Harris will also have a separate meeting with Vice President Sara Duterte. In a background briefing, Harris's office said the U.S. Vice President is scheduled to meet with Marcos Jr. and Duterte by November 20 to 22. The U.S. Vice President will then fly to Puerto Princesa in Palawan to demonstrate America's commitment to the rule of law in the South China Sea. This marks the first time that a top White House official will visit the Philippines since former U.S. President Donald Trump came to the country in 2017.
In world news, former U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that he will seek the Republican presidential nomination in the 2024 U.S. elections. Trump is eyeing a potential rematch with Democratic President Joe Biden. Trump made his announcement at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida a week after midterm elections in which Republicans failed to win as many seats in Congress as they had hoped. Trump says his 2024 campaign is a, quote, quest to save America.
For the big story in sports, the final two semifinal slots are up for grabs in the 2022 PBL Reinforced Conference after two major upset wins on Tuesday. The details in my report.
That's a third one. Nalunod! But it worked!
The race is still on for the last two semifinal spots in the PVL Reinforced Conference, and one of the teams that's still in the running is the PLDT High-Speed Hitters after defeating their sister team, Cignal HG Spikers, in 4 sets.
But they did well in the game.
PLDT was led by their Russian reinforcement Elena Samoylenko, who produced 29 points, while Del Palomata added a solid 15 points to complete the win. The High-Speed Hitters improved their record to 3-4, win-loss card in the standings. They, however, must win their last assignment versus the Cherry Tiggo Crossovers in 3 sets to have a better shot at the semi-final spot. In the second game, the young Akari squad made sure to send off their Fury reinforcement Prisilla Rivera on a good note as they completed an upset win against the streaking F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. The Chargers outplayed the Cargo Movers in 4 sets as Akari's defense stepped up in the game to turn back F2. Rivera became a trending topic on Twitter, and local volleyball stars recognized Pris Rivera's incredible performance in the PVL. Pris Rivera recently registered a new PVL record of 44 points in their 5-set win against Choco Mucho. The PVL action continues Tuesday with Cherry Tiggo out to solidify their number 2 standing against PLDT at 2:30 p.m. This will be followed by the highly anticipated matchup of Choco Mucho versus sister team Creamline at 5:30 p.m. You can watch the games live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and the Cignal Play app. Gretchen Ho, we are One News.
And that is the big story tonight. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, Business World Online. You may also log on to onenews.ph for more analysis. I'm Robbie Alampay.
The big story is also available via Cignal Play app. Make a free account now at signalplay.com and stream One News anytime, anywhere. I'm Gretchen Ho. Stay safe, Philippines.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.